Sorry, you got something on your mind. You got
Yes,
something.
I
Something.
hope I don't
Let us know.
forget a detail. A lot
I
happened.
remember you did say you had a crazy story for the
I
pod.
told y'all, okay, I told y'all I had a story no matter how this ended up. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had to double back a little later and be like, I didn't realize how true this was going to be. Stuff just kept happening.
Okay, let me
God.
know. Let a man
All
know.
right, I hope I don't forget
Folks
everything.
at
All right.
home know too.
So,
If you forget anything and you remember like 20 minutes later, don't
I'll
hesitate to interrupt me if I'm talking and give the detail. Like, go ahead.
I've told the story twice now, so I think I remember I should be better at remember having everything lined up.
Okay.
Okay. So a little while back, me and one of my best friends, Richard, who's done my tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
we planned and put together a trip for us to quickly
Mm-hmm.
go to Philly, watch Shane Gillis comedy
Mm-hmm.
special or a comedy show
Yeah.
out there in Philly and come back.
That was a few weeks, like a month ago or so, I remember.
Yeah, when we had like planned it, it was this. So this past weekend is when it was gonna be.
Okay.
So we were supposed to original plan. We were supposed to leave Thursday night, get
Mm-hmm.
there at 5 a.m., check into an
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb, chill for a little bit, see the show, go back the next morning.
Yeah.
Thursday, the day we're supposed to leave for the flight, late, at night. I'm driving home from work, and he calls me,
Uh-oh.
and he says, "Dude," what he says is, "Our flight got canceled." Panic. We're like, oh no, are we gonna miss this trip? We started thinking
Yeah.
of, are we gonna have to like drive? We'd have to have started driving at that exact moment to Philly to try and catch it in time.
Yeah.
So what really happened was the first, because we had a layover in Denver. What really happened was our first flight was delayed so much that we would have missed our connection to actually go to Philly.
Okay.
So we're freaking out. I'm freaking out so much. As I was driving home, I took a wrong turn because I was like, "Oh
Jesus
shit, we're
Christ.
gonna miss this fucking show." I was like, because he stunned me, he shocked me. I get home, he calls me back, and he's like, "Okay, we can take a flight early tomorrow morning, in that Friday, the same day of the show. But we're gonna have to drive to Austin, take the flight, come back."
Okay.
And I'm like, cool, that's fine. So I wake up super early in the morning. I wake up at like 6 a.m. I think the flight ended up being at noon. So I wake up at 6 a.m., pick him up, get over there. We're like, we got here way too fucking soon. Because his mom had kind of gotten in his head a little bit about like being there super early. Because I just went off what time he told me to pick him up.
That's what I was saying.
And because it was in Austin, the weekend of Georgia, Texas, and F1 is doing something in Austin. So I think that's why his mom was concerned.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So looking back, like we still got there way too early, but I at least I could get why.
By the way, F1, while Georgia is in town, is just an insane thing to do.
Insane.
Yeah, but carry on.
But we get there so early, we go to a Waffle House, like near the airport.
Yeah.
Gets a Waffle House, and then on the way back at Austin, that road was so weird. It like you merge, and then it's a hard turn right only lane all of a sudden. So I deadass is the closest I've ever been to crashing, because I was like, oh fuck, and then I had to like swerve and get back on. But anyways, we get on the plane. We're gonna be landing there at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And just as a heads up, a little reference. Since now my car's in Austin, we changed the other flight, the way back flight, to be now going to Austin because it was going to be in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And he had something he had to do that same day when we came back that Saturday. So he changed the flight earlier. So we were going to be leaving at 5 a.m. the next day. So we get there at 5 p.m. and we were going to be leaving at 5 a.m. We're going to be in Philly for 12 hours. Important.
A lot going on there.
So. Yeah. Anyways, we're at the Austin airport. We get there. We're fine. We're waiting a bit because, we got there way too early. I bought Phase 10 cards. We played Phase 10 in the airport. But everything goes fine. We get on the plane. We fly off. We land in Philly. One way.
As one does.
So then we land. We start waiting for our Uber, which takes forever because traffic was crazy. It took them forever to actually get to us. But as we're waiting, there was like some sign. I forgot what the sign itself said, but somebody just put a sticker of an asshole on it. Like a human, like a photograph, but like on a sticker of a real human asshole.
Sounds about Philly.
Clean. It was a clean one, at least.
Does not sound about Philly.
But we get it. We have, I think, we have
cameo, by the way. Sorry.
I think we have like 3 hours till the show. So we're like, hey, let's get a Philly cheesesteak beforehand.
Fuck yeah.
We go to this little spot that we found on Google. It was weird to order. It had, because it was like you walk up to it. It has 2 windows. Mm-hmm. One you order the cheesesteak from. The other one you order sides and a drink from. Separate charges.
Oh.
Weird.
All right. Sure.
Weird. But we get it. We get the cheesesteak. I get a drink, and we get some fries. That cheesesteak was ass. It was terrible.
No.
The bread was hard to tear off. The meat was like super bland. The cheese was barely there. And then the fries were just cut up potatoes, I swear. Like no seasoning, no nothing. Just fluffy cut up potatoes. Terrible. And it's at that point we're sitting at the table. He says to me, you know what? Philadelphia might be ass. And I said, that is very much on the table.
On the table.
So, anyways, we then we walk around a little bit in the city, and then we Uber to the I think it's Wells Fargo Arena or whatever, where the Sixers play, where the Flyers play, right across the street from where the Eagles play. Sold out show, the first ever sold out comedy show in that theater, that stadium, because that comic, like, he comedy wise, he pretty much started like in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So they said, it was like a coming home thing. So sold out show, crowd was loving it. So
now he's doing NFL Bud Light commercials. So
I mean, he's doing everything. I think he was EA College Football live stream when that game came out, like him sponsored tournament or whatever. He was in it.
Oh, okay, good shit.
But anyways, sold out show. We go to the show. The show was awesome. Like, funniest hour and a half of my life. Like, it was amazing. Had a great time. Sipped on a twisted tea. A little twisty.
Little twee. Yes, sir.
The show ends, and we have, like, 3 hours till our next flight. Or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe it was a little more, because first we go to a bar, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't like this vibe. I don't like these type of places.
At this hour in Philadelphia, no, sir.
They're not for me. Also, during the fucking comedy show, they let out an Eagles chant.
Ugh.
Fucking, because he just mentioned the Eagles briefly during the set. So we go to a bar and we're like, this isn't the vibe. Let's just go back to the he couldn't refund the Airbnb because it was like, because at this point, I forgot to mention this part. When we were in the airport, I pretty much brought nothing. Like, I brought what I normally wear because we were going to be there so quick. I just had my phone, wallet, keys, headphones, and my phone charger. That's it. No bag. First time I've ever had no bag in an airport.
No bag?
No bag. No bag. There's no point. We're there for 12 hours. Didn't need it.
I guess. Bring a pair of underwear or something, at least. I don't know.
We weren't even...
What if you shit yourself?
I'll buy a pair of underwear while I'm out there.
All right.
But, yeah, so I raw dogged this whole trip, pretty much.
Crazy.
But yeah, so we're at the bar. We're like, this isn't the vibe. We go back to the Airbnb because he couldn't refund it. Because we were like, we don't actually need this anymore. We're not going to sleep. Because I was like, we'll be too groggy. Like, if we go to sleep for a short amount of time as we'll have, I might be more tired when we go to the airport. But we go there, and I was like, fuck it. I was tired. I was like, you know what? I guess I'll get like an hour of sleep, whatever. So it's 2 hours. I set my alarm. We have 2 hours before we have to go to the airport. I'm laying there for like 30 minutes, and he comes back into my room, and he's like, dude, we got waitlisted on the flight that we have. They overbooked the flight. He's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We might not make it.
Oh, brother.
Because it was the second flight, because there was two flights, one to DFW and then DFW to Austin. The DFW to Austin is the one that we might not have been able to get on. We were waitlisted. It was we got concerned. So he calls his parents. I forgot another part. When we were at the bar waiting for an Uber to go to the Airbnb, while we're waiting for the Uber, like one guy came up to us, was like, I'm an Uber driver, I could drive y'all. Shows us his Uber stuff. We're like, it's a little more expensive with him. We'll wait. And then another dude walks up to us, and he just goes, "You want to come with me?" That's it. That's his whole pitch. Not I'm with Uber, not I'm with Lyft, not nothing. He's just, "Do you want to come with me?" And we said, "No, thank you." And he just gave us a sketchy looking dude. And then we look over, and he put his hood on and was doing the same thing to other people. It's like, brother, that makes you look worse.
Yeah, that don't look right.
No sales pitch to it. Just, "Do you want to come with me?" "No, sir."
I'm good, actually. I respectfully decline your offer.
All right, but back to being freaked out about the wait list. So we go to we go to the Philly airport. We catch our.
Hold on. You're at a bar. Have these folks been drinking at all too? The guys that are offering you rides. You said you were at a bar.
No, I don't think so. We were standing outside of the bar.
Okay, all right.
So I don't think so. So we decide to go to Philly, catch our flight from Philly to DFW, and hope we can get on the plane. Or if we can't, since they overbooked, they do have to give us a flight at some point for to come back down. So we're like, all right, we'll just go there, see what happens. We catch the flight. We're now at DFW airport. We go to the counter, but at the gate for our flight. Where we start to head over. There's multiple terminals at DFW. Our flight landed in the A terminal. Our flight that we needed to get onto was on the A terminal. Sweet. Mm-hmm. Go to the gate, switched over to C terminal. And then DFW has like a Skylink or whatever where you just get on like a little subway and go to the next terminal. We get on, and then it turns out they're skipping terminal C, the terminal we need to get to, just on the Skylink. So we hopped on, then found out they're skipping that stop. So we hopped on, had to hop back off, ride it right back to where we were, then walk all the way over to the other terminal. Mm-hmm. And then we finally get to the gate where our flight is now. Nobody's there. Like, for a while. Like, we're just standing there for a while. Nobody's there. Finally, somebody comes up, and he's like, my friend's like, "Okay, so we got waitlisted on this flight. What do we do? Like, how do we get on the flight?" And then she's just like, "I don't have a wait list for this flight. I don't see your name anywhere." She was copping an attitude with us as well for no reason. For no reason. I don't want to be rude, but she didn't seem to like her job. It was the vibe, but what's that got to do with me?
Pretty much everybody except pilots and then air traffic control all hate their jobs. If you're talking about airport employees,
yeah,
most of them don't like it very much. It seems that way. Anyway.
Yeah, she's copping an attitude with us, being like, "I don't have you on this flight. I don't see you anywhere." Right behind her, the screen is rotating between different things, but one of them is standby list with a list of names. And he goes, "I'm right there, number 7." And it was his initials. It was I'll say, he has a common name, so I'll say this. It was RIC for his first name, and then M for his last name. And he's like, "That's me, right there." And then he says his name, and she's like, "That's not it. That's not what that name is." And I was like, "Who the fuck is it? Ricardo Montoya? What else is spitting this? What else is spitting this?" So she's like, "Go to customer service." And I was like, "Okay, we'll do." Bitch. We go to customer service. The nice lady there finds us pretty much immediately, prints us out boarding passes. Crisis averted. We have our boarding passes. We get on the plane. We make it back to Austin, and I am exhausted because I didn't sleep at all when we were at the Airbnb. Couldn't sleep after he was like, "We might not be able to make it back home." I was like, "What the fuck?" So I didn't sleep at all. So I have to drive us back another hour and a half, and I'm doing the fucking while driving. Oh, which you shouldn't do.
No, you need to.
You shouldn't do that. But I made it home, made it safely, and then once I dropped him off, I told him I was doing that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of felt it a couple times," and I'm like, "That's even worse that you can feel it."
He could have offered to drive.
I don't know, with insurance, and since we were both probably pretty tired, it's probably best if I just drove.
Yeah, I guess.
But we finally had made it back. The whole point of the whole story is what's the worst thing that could happen? go one step below that, that's what kept happening to us. Like, the plane didn't crash. I forgot another thing that happened. I forgot another thing. On the flight from Philly to DFW, I'm sleeping a little bit on the plane. I'm dozing in and out of sleep. And when I doze back out of sleep, all I hear on the intercom is, medical professional to the front, medical professional. And I look up and, like, someone's just having a medical emergency on this flight. Like, two people stood up, come back and helped them. And I was
God.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was just like, of course this would happen right now on this flight. Like, everything has been going wrong or, like, inconveniencing us in any way. We were like, are they going to have to emergency land this plane? What are we... That person was totally fine. Like, I don't know what the problem was, but they were totally fine, thankfully. Like, even when we landed, like, they weren't, like, immediately escorted off. Like, not like it. So whatever it was, ended up not being a big deal, a big issue, thankfully. Which is why I felt okay being a little exacerbated about it, because I was like, oh fuck, something else.
Yeah, but, as long as they're good.
But yeah. So then all that happened. I think that's everything. I don't think I missed a detail. But yeah.
Hi, Dirk. Well, now that you mention this, I don't think I've ever told this story in its entirety on the podcast before. I had a nightmare trip that involved missing a connecting flight at the DFW. So this was a little over 2 years ago. I was really going through it at the time. So Gabe hit me up. He was like, hey, My Chemical Romance is doing their reunion tour. The first leg of the U.S. tour is in Oklahoma City, and Gabe was, going to OK State at the time, so he was like an hour and a half away. He was in Stillwater, so he was like, "Hey, if you pay for your plane ticket, I'll pay for your concert ticket, and we'll go see MCR." So I was like, "Okay, fuck yeah, right?" So, I get ready to leave that night to head to, I think it was to Charlotte, and then from Charlotte to DFW to OKC or some shit like that. Or maybe it was from Charlotte to OKC, and then my flight back was like Charlotte, DFW, Orlando. I don't remember. But I know I went to Charlotte my first flight. So I was supposed to go to Charlotte. I left work it was a Thursday night. I was supposed to go to Charlotte that night. Because of weather, that flight got canceled. I had to go to Charlotte the next day. Then my flights both got delayed. The next day. So I was supposed to land in Oklahoma City Thursday night. I didn't land until like 1 p.m. Friday. Damn. So already I've lost like 12 hours of time I was going to be spending with Gabe. I've lost quite a bit of it already. And then now when I get there, we ended up having a good time. I was just with his roommates for a few days. We went out to get some food a few times. I had Cane's in Oklahoma. I had Whataburger at the DFW. So, I got all the essentials taken care of. And then, of course, we actually went to the show. Show was fantastic. The day comes for me to go home. And Gabe and his roommates were going to make a Costco trip anyways. So there was a Costco near the airport. So they were driving me to the airport. And while we're in Gabe's friend's car, we're on the highway, and tire pressure light comes on while he's driving.
Just as a little flavor to the story, my tire pressure light was on the entire ride to Austin and back.
Awesome!
Just as
Incredible.
A little. And as I was driving, I was like, "Should I tell you my tire pressure light was on?" And he was like, "Oh, I wish you didn't tell me that," because he was freaking out.
Oh no!
But back to your story.
Yeah. So we're driving. We're driving to. Driving to the airport, and his back right tire pops while we're right next to a semi-truck on the highway.
Oh.
Now, he did not lose control of the vehicle, so he pulled over. So that was nice. And there just so happened to be a state trooper like right behind us. We didn't even have to call. The guy pulled over immediately.
Convenient.
Helped him put the spare on. Was blocking the road until we got back on the road, and then he was driving like 40 miles an hour to the gas station, because he was on spare. But then once we got to the gas station, I ordered an Uber, and she got there so quickly, I didn't even have time to do real goodbyes. So I got in the car, and then Gabe texted. He was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "I'm so fucking sorry, dog. Like, I should have just told her like, hey, can you give me like a minute or whatever." But we were at a gas station. I grabbed some food, and then right as I finished paying for my food, she had pulled up. So very nice lady though. I was talking to her the whole way there. She's very sweet. I love like good conversations with Uber drivers. It's like one of my simple pleasures.
Mine were dead silent when we were in Philly.
See, I don't mind those either, as long as like I don't talk, they don't talk, whatever. It's a little awkward, but like I do prefer conversation.
I'm always like, what's going on in there?
Yeah, my favorite Uber trips are definitely. I'll never get mad at them for not talking.
No.
My favorite trips are certainly the ones where they're really talking. They got a lot to say, and they engage with you. They want to know about you too, and it's always a good, even if it's just small talk the entire time. Yeah. It's a good thing. But I usually learn about them and their personal life at least a little bit, and that's
it took forever for I really both times I wanted to be like, so where you from? Because they were clearly not from here. Like they had pretty thick accents. Drove like crazy though. They needed me out the car to pick up somebody else. Here, I'm gonna let that go real quick. He's whining.
No, you're good. You're good. Hi, Derek. Oof, god damn, that ass fat. Hi, Bowie. I love you, buddy. My little man. He's sitting in his little tub over there. Look at that sexy cunt coming to sit back down. All right. So what had happened was, got to the airport. Airport security at the OKC airport were fucking mean. You know, like take their job way too fucking seriously sometimes. But anywho, I get on the flight. My flight from OKC to DFW got delayed. Delayed so much to the point where I landed by the time my other flight took off. My connecting flight took off. So I had to stand in line once I landed in the DFW for I think 2 hours to get a new flight. And then I flew from DF. I had to stay overnight that night because it was until the next morning. So my dad got me. He travels a lot for work, so he has like Hilton reward points. There was a Hilton near the DFW. He was like, "Yeah, well, I just got you, a hotel stay here." So very nice of him to do. I ended up staying pretty nice hotel. So it was a nice night. Whatever, it was fun. And then the next morning, fly. I think my flight gets delayed again because this was that one weekend a couple years ago where there was like unprecedented thunderstorms in the DFW area. So that's why my flights had gotten delayed the previous instance. So like my entire trip got moved like 12 hours. Like I didn't get there until 12 hours after I was supposed to. I didn't leave until 12 hours after I was supposed to. So I was going to be back home Sunday night and going to work on Monday. I didn't get home until 4 p.m. on Monday. I missed work. I texted our head of HR. It was a small business, so it was like 50 employees. So like I can just text the head of HR, like let her know, yo, I've had too many flight delays. I'm not gonna be back in town at time. I can't work. I thought I was gonna be back at like 3 a.m. Monday morning. I missed, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to work. I'm gonna get back in town like only a couple hours before I have to clock in, and I ended up not getting in town until right after I would have clocked out. And so, I got to work on Tuesday, and some coworkers were like, "So how was your extended weekend?" I'm like, "Man, fuck you!" Like I was having travel issues half the damn weekend.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, I was like, I didn't even get to enjoy that extra day. I was flying I was having to suffer through, sitting at the airport for hours waiting for my flights. Like
me and my friend were like, if anyone asks us about this trip, because we were done. Like literally, my friend had said at one point, "This is the worst day of my life," is what he said at one point because of how hectic it was. He said the comedy show is the only thing stopping him from saying it is, because the comedy show was great,
right?
But he was done.
Right.
Oh fuck! I had something else to say, but I don't. Oh, I do remember for the Uber, he dropped us off like when we were going to the Airbnb after the show. He dropped us off like 2 blocks. Not where we were supposed to be at, like 2 blocks away from where we were supposed to be at. So my friend hops out the car and just like, I think he goes behind somebody's house and just like pisses. Not someone, I'm behind like someone's house, but like it might have been somebody's house or like, I don't know what it was. It might have been somebody's. I'm not sure what that building was.
So why did he drop you off so far away from the B&B?
No idea, but my friend was like, dude, my butt is about to fucking explode. I gotta go right now.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we both had nightmare trips with a lot of delays in which we went out of town to go to a basketball arena to watch something other than
Yeah,
basketball. So
but
that's pretty
oh,
cool.
that's what I was gonna say. My whole trip was for it was for 12 hours to be in Philly. All of this was to be 12 hours in Philly for
Hmm.
Star Philly. But what it really was for, it was for an hour and a half of a comedy show and a shitty Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
We were for the whole trip, the 12 hours we were there, we were at an airport or an airplane for longer than those 12 hours, like the
Right.
trip itself. Once you got to start evaluating a trip once you're like, huh, time spent traveling is greater
Versus
than time
time spent
spent there.
enjoying. Yeah.
That's
Nah,
you got to
yeah,
start
no,
doing. You got to start thinking about it at that point. I don't regret it at all. The show is great. It's a
right.
funny story. Had a good time with my friend. The whole time I'm laughing. He was getting kind of annoyed at times, but I'm laughing like, hey, we got a story. Just wait, we'll be fine. We got a story. It's funny. It's fine. But damn.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, that's hectic shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.